Kyle, we're going to open it up over here to the right. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Kyle, after the strip sack, you throw a touchdown pass. How much better, I guess, to go from that moment to the touchdown pass, how does a quarterback like you respond to that? And how did you feel you responded to it?
Yeah, I thought I responded well. The strip sack was my fault. It felt like they brought pressure, and the O-line did a good job of giving me enough time. I just got to make better decisions. And so I think after that we responded well. I thought the guys around me, just lifted me up and, told me that, we just got to keep going, keep pressing. And I thought we did that. Obviously followed up and, put some points up on the board. So that was good. It was a good way to respond.
Over here to the left, Justin Holbrook, WCMH. And then to Nathan.
Kyle, what do you think a game like this, not just for yourself, but the whole offense does for this big test coming up next week against Notre Dame? Obviously a different team, but how do you guys feel going into that game, biggest of the season so far?
Yeah, I think this was probably our most complete game as an offense, and just trying to continue to take strides. And felt like we ran the ball really well. I feel like we had success passing the ball, and so it's definitely a good confidence boost going into obviously a big test next week. So it's just all about how can we take that step from week 3 to week 4 and continue to get better.
Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Ryan said you had your best week of practice this week, whether that was coincidental or not. He didn't know. Did you feel different at all this week in your preparation, knowing that you're the unquestioned leader of this offense? Was there maybe something taken off of your shoulders so you could just kind of relax and play football?
I think it's definitely nice getting the official nod from him, but at the same time, the more experience I can get, the more opportunity, the more reps, the better I feel like I'll be. So I just kind of had that mind state going into practice week and attacking it like a game every single day. And I feel like we had a really good week of offense, or a really good week of practice on offense, and I think that showed today.
Over to the left, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
I guess similar to that, but how was this week different for you getting all the, number one reps? Did it build in a different way for you this week, and did that help you come into today in a different approach?
Yeah, I think it does help when you have understanding of kind of how the game's going to go, that you're going to be getting all the reps, and you're going with the ones, and you really don't have to, try to think about what's going to happen, if you don't put together a drive or anything like that. And then I think this week kind of used that confidence boost a little bit and, just trusted my rules, trusted my reads, trusted my eyes, and I think good things happen. So just continuing on that for next week.
Okay, and we've got Denzel Burke here. I'm going to put him at the back left table. Denzel, if you don't mind, just go up the side wall there and then to the left. Then over here to the right, Jeremy Birmingham, Letterman Row.
Hey, Kyle, for you, obviously the fumble is one play that's going to stick in your craw a little bit. What do you learn from that? How are you able to quickly move on from it? And what do you take out of it and say, that's what I need to do better at this?
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't watched film. There's all that other stuff.
Yeah. I think in the moment and when you're in the game, I think the biggest thing is just to have that one play, kind of next play mentality and kind of brush it clean and, forget about it and focus on the next drive. But, now going back and watch the film and obviously have to grow from that, have to learn from that because the defense did a really good job getting, I think that was a 4th down stop, getting the ball at midfield and an offense we didn't score and it's my fault. So I think that's one thing that we have to grow upon, or I have to grow upon, and, just figure out how can we eliminate plays like that.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Coach Day said that there was, a different level of intensity in practice this week. What do you think it was that you guys felt as a team that kind of sparked that for you guys to take it to another level this week?
Yeah, I know as an offense we felt like there were times where we looked really good, I think in week 1 and week 2, and then there were times where we kind of spun our tires, and we knew if we went out and we could put together a complete game, like it would look really, really good. If we were able to run the ball well, if we were able to pass the ball well, we would be one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in America. And so I think, we realized that the level of preparation, I think, at practice maybe wasn't at the point where it needed to be early on in the season. And I think, Coach Day really harped on that, and the guys responded for sure. I think we had a really good week of practice, and that showed today.
Over here to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Kyle, can you walk us through a little bit what you were seeing before that strip sack happened?
Yeah, so obviously we had a play-action pass called, and they bring a lot of pressure. They bring a lot of different looks. I saw that they brought pressure kind of as I snapped the ball, and I had a little bit of an idea pre-snap too of what they were going to do. and just didn't see it clean. Just need to get the ball out of my hands. And I think the line, from what it felt like, they did a really good job of giving me time, and I think they brought one more than we could handle, and I think there's a lot of one-on-one blocks, and so I had more than enough time to make a play. And so I think I just have to realize the play we're in and what the defense is doing, and just make a quicker decision. And obviously we'd like to get the ball out, but if that's taking a sack, I think Coach Day talked about it, kind of third head in it and avoiding that, because 2nd and 15, obviously it's not ideal, but it's better than a turnover.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Kyle, that fumble was the only time you guys didn't score in that first half. The first couple drives were really efficient. Next couple drives after the fumble were big plays. How do you, when you're efficient early like that, how does that open things up to be explosive? And do you feel like this offense is becoming more and more efficient as you guys go on? Yeah,
I thought the biggest thing today was we ran the ball very well. And anytime you run the ball well, I thought, we did a good job running it, in between the tackles, and then we did a good job kind of getting it out on the perimeter. And I think that stretches the defense and opens up shots to take down the field like we did to Marvin, opens up the drop-back pass because they really don't know what to expect. So anytime I think we can really get the run game going, which I thought we did a tremendous job of that today, it opens up the entire offense. So I think that's a credit to the O-line and the running backs today.
We're at 2-and-done time. Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
As you said, the offense spun its tires at times the first 2 weeks. How important was it, especially with Notre Dame coming up, that you had a game like this where you felt confident in running the offense and everything clicked? Yeah,
I think, like I said, I think we spun our tires at times, and we go out to practice and have some really good days, and then maybe that wouldn't always translate to the game at times. Like I said, I think we looked really good, and then there were times where I felt like we left money on the field. So having a game like this, I think, will give all the guys a little boost of confidence going into the game next week. And I think the biggest thing is just continuing to ramp up that intensity in practice, because we know what it's going to be next week in South Bend against a really good team and in a tough environment. So we're just going to have to ramp it up and continue on this kind of trajectory that we're on right now.
Over here, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Coming up here, Kyle, I heard a number, fans, red coats, whatever, a lot of them saying the same thing. Now we're ready for Notre Dame. Do you have that little buzz, too, about how well this went today and maybe an incremental gain and ready to take them on?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get the offense and the defense going like that, that's a huge confidence boost. And I think the biggest thing now is using it, but understanding it's a different team we're going against. They got a lot of really good players. They're well coached. It's going to be a away game in a tough environment. So it's like, obviously, we came out here today, handled our business, but it's going to take even more next week. So I think everybody's going to be, kind of on a little bit of an edge this week, which is good.
Over to the right, Austin Ward, the podcast, Rivals.
Kyle, I know even in the opener you were talking about, being a leader and, trying to establish that for this new offense. Is there anything about when the title officially changed that you did differently? Like you are the starter. I have to do this. I have to say this. Or was it completely the same for you today as it was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a little bit of a confidence boost. Like I said, when he gives you the official nod that you're the guy, whether it was subconscious or not, I really didn't think of it that way, but I felt just a little more confident, I would say. And, that could be him naming me the starter. I think that could be just the more reps and experience and, plays I get under my belt. But whatever it is, I felt like I took a step in the right direction, but just have to continue to be on, my P's and Q's during the week, continue to prepare. And, obviously we have a big one on Saturday, so continuing to get better for that.
And final question, Tim May, the Tim May Show, and On 3.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Kyle, what was it like to be driving that car, so to speak, the last 8 minutes of the second quarter, with you guys scoring the way you did, et cetera? What did that feel like? Is that something you wanted to feel coming out of this game, that kind of explosion?
Yeah.
And what does it do for you guys headed forward? Obviously your biggest test of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think my job as the quarterback for this team is just all about how can I keep us on schedule and get the ball to our playmakers. And I think that we did a really good job of that today. It felt like the O-line, the running backs did a really good job on first and second down to run the ball, getting us positive plays to start the drive off. And anytime we can get rolling like that, it's a huge boost to the offense. And, we can play in front of the chains. We can take shots down the field and just opens up the entire playbook. And then obviously the receivers, I don't really have to say too much about them. Anytime you can get the ball in their hands, regardless of where they are, good things are going to happen. So I think it's just a combination of those things kind of all coming together. And, I felt like it was about time that we really kind of fired on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's a showcase game coming, obviously, prime time, et cetera. What do you feel? What's your feeling about this team headed toward that?
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to get on the film tomorrow and watch those guys, but they're ranked top 10 for a reason. We played them last year. They played us really tough. I think we only scored 21 points last year against them, and I'm sure they're improved on defense. So it's going to be a good matchup, prime time, and that's one of the reasons why you come to a school like Ohio State to play in games like that.
Kyle, congratulations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.